Hi, in this video I'm going to tell you about those Fosi V3 power amplifiers. They're small but powerful monoblocks without volume control, and they're awesome. I wanted to do introductory video about those, but I quickly realized that I need to go way deeper into that, so today we're gonna not only talk about those little amplifiers, but also, sorry for that, I'm gonna compare them with Fosi ZA3, the recent kings of the amps that I have here in dual mono, and V3 stereo amp that is also still available by Fosi, and those are amazing amps. So let's check if those amps, the new ones, are better, and if they are, you're gonna hear it as well, because I'm not only talking about how things sound here, but I also record highest quality sound samples for you to enjoy. If that sounds crazy for you, how about we really position those amplifiers where they truly belong? Because I have here Naim Supernait 3 AB class amplifier that cost about 5,000 bucks, and Canor integrated A class amplifier that cost about 10,000 bucks. Okay, so I bet I've got your curiosity, but now I will get your attention as well, because not only that, I will also check how it performs with Opamp rolling, because you can switch Opamps in here, and I've got Muses 02, which is very popular, warm sounding Opamp, and Sparkos Opamps, which are discrete ones, and I do really like them with Fosi ZA3. Okay, so without further ado, let's start the review part. So now, those Fosi small amplifiers, they're quite small, nice looking, orange sides. And what's the difference in between? First of all, you don't have potentiometer, so you have to rely on your preamp DAC or wherever you regulate your volume. So that's one thing. Other than that, you've got XLR and RCA inputs, so you can switch in between them with the toggles on the front. And of course there's power and standby power, which turns off the amps after 10 minutes if you're not using them. Other than that, they're like, I don't know, 200 watts, 300 watts, depend on your load. So really, does it matter? If you need like 500 watts, go for the different amps, yeah. But first of all, switch your speakers, because 500 watts, if you need really that, your speaker probably sucks. And now let's go to the measurements part of this video. Okay, so let's measure this amplifier. Okay, as you can see, it's like 10 centimeters wide. Really, you know, I don't care about measurements, and I'm a physicist and engineer, and really, do you measure your amps or listen to them? I don't really care if it's like 5% THD when it's like 500 watts, who really cares? I like to listen to them, not measure them. So that's it for the measurement parts of the video. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about how warm it gets, because it gets warm. I broke it in, so I've had it constantly powered on, and when I touched it, it was warm to touch, to the level where I don't know if I would be able to keep my hands on it for like 5 minutes. So if you have a cat, I'm sure he'll love to lie around it, but he'll never get burned. That's a plus. The minus side is, if you count on that to be your heater for the winter time, it will not heat up your room as a good class A amplifier would. Okay, so now I'm gonna tell you a little bit more just how to open it if you want to replace the Opamps. There are like 4 screws at the back, here, 2 at the back, yeah, but 4 entirely. You just unscrew that, this one, and those on the bottom as well. Those are radiator, they keep the radiator in place. So after you unscrew it, just like that, bam, it went out. This one as well. This is ready, open, and now you can pull out. Now it doesn't want to get out. It still is kept by the screw. Okay, real life video. Okay, so we take out the front. We have this amplifier, beautiful one, on the inside. And now we can pull out the amp. And that's it. That's the secret of Fosi V3 monoblock. There's one more thing. There's some kind of circuit in the filter part of the chip that it's supposed to sound the same now regardless of the speaker impedance, because with D-class amplifiers you have second order filter at the output, and depending on your loudspeakers you'll have more or less high frequencies. The higher the impedance of your speakers, the more high frequencies you'll have, and it can be harsh with some speakers. So with this circuit, apparently it should sound the same and have the same balance regardless of your speaker impedance, which is an added bonus. So when it comes to the board, as you can see, we have 3 op-amps. One in here, it's for the XLR processing, because you need to have additional op-amp for XLR if you want to have those inputs. And there's like 2 op-amp slots in here so that you can replace your op-amps. So if you want to switch your op-amps and have the most crucial impact, you just need to replace those 2, and you have dual mono, so you have 2 by 4 op-amps of the same kind, or you can even juggle them and use one op-amp in here and second one in here and play with the sound character, because why not? So when I tested the op-amps, as you can see, there's a radiator here at the bottom with some thermal paste, and it's not that big. So the entire case is kind of a radiator here. So I wanted to have as snappy changes and hear them when I switch the op-amps. So all I did is basically I placed this op-amp, this board. I didn't put them back into the box and screw everything up. I just used a cover from one different amp. It's a little piece of aluminum. Placed it like that. Bam. Ready. Sorry for talking bam so much. I've got a little son and it's like his favorite word at the moment. Yeah, only thing you have to think about when you put it in here, you don't want to shorten the circuit with that, and it's aluminum, so it's bad for you. So all I did, I just put VirtualHiFi logo, something in between in here, so that we have beautiful contact with aluminum surface and we can't short it. You can work with that, and let me tell you, I've had it like that, 2 of those amplifiers, and I listen really loud with Folium loudspeakers, so I'm reaching like really big power here, and it didn't turn off, it didn't have any faults, so thermally it's stable and I don't see any issues with thermal. So if you want to switch the op-amps, here's how you do it. You have to take out the op-amps from here, and as you can see, let me have it in here, the op-amp sockets have those little dents on one side, and that dent means that you need to align the op-amp. I'll try to find, there's a little dot in here, as you can see, and that dot needs to go where the dent is. So you align it, that dot means leg number 1, and you align it so that the dot is on the same side where the dent on the op-amp is. And yeah, all the op-amps you'll buy, unless they're like Sparkos or other discrete op-amps, most of them, their legs sucks and bend like crazy. So if you don't want to get really annoyed with putting them in and out and aligning every leg, just buy as well little precision sockets. Those are called Deep 8 precision sockets. Just place your op-amps in that, and that way it's like easy peasy. You just put it in, bam, ready. That's working perfectly. And you can just change the op-amp. Of course, when you change the op-amps, just turn off the amp and replace the op-amps. Have fun with it. You can buy them. They cost like from $1 up to probably endless, but the most expensive $100, $200 maybe per op-amp. So yeah, there's plenty of things to do, and they do really differ in sound. So I've got 2 op-amps today for you, special ones. So we'll have 3 different sounds. One is standard NA5322, yeah, I believe those one are the standards one. Those are cheap but reasonably good Opamps. And the most popular ones are Muses ZA3. I believe they're like 40 bucks a piece at the moment, so they're not that expensive, but they sound kind of warm and nice and nicely balanced with this amplifier. And also I've got discrete Sparkos Labs Opamps, which I also like, and I use them in my ZA3 and V3 stereo amplifier. Okay, I hope I didn't bore you too much with that, and now let's go to the listening samples. So I'm using high-end shops microphones and 32-bit recorder, and I'm gonna have 3 different samples for you guys today. And after each sample session, I will tell you what is the configuration, because each configuration is A, B, C, D. I don't tell you which amps play now, so that you have a kind of a blind test, and after each section I'll share with you which amp is which in that particular section. And also I will share with you what I heard about those listening sessions. So without further ado, for best experience, put on your headphones and enjoy.
I don't know where she came from, kinda turned me upside down. I just don't know what to do. I wanna spend the night at hers and bring her one of my t-shirts, so it smells like her perfume. Now I really get what the love songs are talking about, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out of breath when you saw her in that dress? When your heart is beating fast and you're sweating and you can't stop looking at her smile, then you've been in love. That's how you know you've been in love. There's something about the way she laughs and the way she always dances when she thinks nobody sees. And when she's gone I miss her so. I tell her, baby, please don't go, I think you should stay with me. And I really get what the love songs are talking about. Oh, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? I woke up in the middle of the night. Ooh, na, na, na. And I wondered how you're always right. It gets me. I couldn't see what you saw in me. Ooh, na, na, na. But you showed me how to believe. Still gets me. When I look back, I can see you're hiding, waiting for a moment to step in. And I'll never understand how you saw it coming. Oh, but I will love you for it all. Yeah, I will love you for it all.
That shut it down, hanging around, God, oh. 'Cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone, I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way
now we're after Opamp rolling, so let me share my experience with Opamp rolling in here. So when I received the amps, I initially broke them in for like 100 hours, and then I started listening. And in comparison to my ZA3, it was instantly more dynamic with more soundstage, but it was a little bit too harsh. So I knew, okay, let's change the op-amps. And I did change them to Sparkos, and it got more punchy, more dynamic, more open, more kicky, more in your face, with higher resolution. Everything was more present. The reverbs were more pronounced. So if you like analytical type of presentation and immersive sound that takes you and grabs you, that's definitely the option for you. Then I switched to the Muses 02 op-amps, and yeah, they're also amazing. And for this amp, I believe they suit even more for most of you guys than the Sparkos ones, because the amp itself is on more analytical side and brighter side and less analogy than the ZA3, at least after 100 hours of breaking in. And balancing it out with the Muses brings up lower mid-range and the bass a little bit more, and it filters out the high frequencies so that the sound gets a little bit softer, yet quite dynamic. It's still more dynamic than many amplifiers, but in comparison to Sparkos, you get this warmer and calmer kind of presentation, which plenty of you guys I know really enjoy and don't want all the time in your face attack, but the vocals pop out really nice. And yeah, it's a very good op-amp, and it's like cheaper, so if that's a factor for you, yeah, you should consider that as well. But both of those op-amps work very well, but I decide on my system and my needs. If I need more openness and more detail, I'd go for Sparkos, and if I need the richness, I'd go for Muses. And the standard op-amps, they're somewhere in the middle, but a poor middle. It's a still very good amp with the standard op-amps, but I'd say if you don't change the op-amps, you're missing out on a lot of good action, because the sound balance is somewhere in between with standard op-amps, in between Sparkos and Muses, but it's never dynamic, it's never that much present. It's like all the time you've got this a little bit muddiness, it's a little bit of lazy sound, and it's a master of none, if you know what I mean. It's okay, a little bit harsh, a little bit, the mid-range is nice, it's a okay op-amp, but I believe it's way worth upgrading the amps, even though it doubles or even triples its price if you go for the Sparkos everywhere. But I believe it's worth it, because what you get is still a deal that is hard to find in audio. Okay, so now let's compare the Fosi V3 monoblocks to Naim Supernait 3 integrated amplifier, which is AB class amp, and I bought it for myself nearly 2 years ago when I started with Qualio as an amp to match the speakers, and I did really cherry pick it among many amplifiers. And the character of the Naim Supernait is that it has a very rich mid-range. It's very like A-class amp mid-range with very punchy and deep bass compared to other integrated amps in that price range. So that's the king of mid-range, immersion, naturalness, and vocals are amazing with Supernait. That should scale the things out for you. Also, we're gonna compare the Fosi V3 monoblocks to the Canor AI 120, which is an A-class amplifier, 50 watts per channel at 4 ohms, and it cost around 9,000 bucks at the moment. For that comparison, since we've got A-class amplifier and a B-class amplifier, I decided to compare it against Fosi V3 with Muses Opamps, because I believe it can be alternative for those warm-sounding amplifiers that gives a lot of warmth and color, yet is even more dynamic and open and have higher resolution than these A and AB class amplifiers. So without further ado, let's go for the second listening session.
I don't know where she came from, kinda turned me upside down. I just don't know what to do. I wanna spend the night at hers and bring her one of my t-shirts so it smells like her perfume. Now I really get what the love songs are talking about, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out of breath when you saw her in that dress? When your heart is beating fast and you're sweating and you can't stop looking at her smile, then you've been in love. That's how you know you've been in love. There's something about the way she laughs and the way she always dances when she thinks nobody sees. And when she's gone, I miss her so. I tell her, baby, please don't go. I think you should stay with me. And I really get what the love songs are talking about. Oh, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head?
up in the middle of the night. Ooh, na na na. And I wondered how you're always right. It gets me. I couldn't see what you saw in me. Ooh, na na na. But you showed me how to believe. Still gets me. When I look back, I can see you're hiding, waiting for a moment to step in. And I'll never understand how you saw it coming. Oh, but I will love you for it all. Yeah, I will love you for it all.
That shut it down, hanging around, God, oh. 'Cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone, I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we on me. I know that I am so much better. I'm better off when I look at what I've done. Now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone. I'm just
Okay, so wasn't it interesting? Because from what I heard in here is really the AB and A-class amplifiers. Yeah, they have the mid-range a little bit more shining, a little bit more present, yet with AB class compared to the Fosi, the sound is a little bit more compressed, less detailed, and the soundstage collapsed definitely. But the mid-range can be more interesting, but the dynamics with the Class D is better. And when I went to the Canor, it was the same, but one step further. So the mid-range got even more warmer, more like analog, but I had a feeling like everything collapsed even more when it comes to openness, scale, impact, sheer brutality of the sound. So yeah, if you're into relaxed sound, yeah, the A-class amp will be better. But if you like your sound to be more energetic and filling the room, then yeah, the Fosi, it wasn't outclassed, and it's a matter of preference, and I know I can balance my system with either of the amplifiers, but I know one thing, that you can always kill the sound and make it more sluggish. But if you have an amp or the speakers or the source that kills the presence, kills the energy in the sound and makes it more mellow, it's undoable. You cannot crank it up in other way. You just can change the balance a little bit, but if it's not effortless pressure coming from the speakers, it's already done. So I'd rather have my system, speakers and amplifier as punchy, kicky, dynamic as possible while maintaining the analoginess and proper balance, and then balance out everything with cable source. Now I'm doing the DSD upsampling on the fly, up to 512 DSD. So that way you can remove that little bit digital glare from the records, or you can also go all in analog, but still you have this kick and punchiness, which for me is a must in the music, because that's how the real life music sounds. And now the last part of the review will start, where I will compare the Fosi V3 mono to the Fosi V3 stereo and ZA3 amplifiers that I have in here, so that you guys can decide whether it's worth changing the amps if you have one of those already, or if maybe if you're new to Fosi or other small D-class amplifiers with TPA 3255 chip, you can decide which one you like the most and will probably suit your system the most, because it's all about personal preferences, of course, unless you like the sound that sucks. And if so, there's no hope for you for sure. Okay, so without further ado, let's listen to the samples, and in the next part, the summary part, I'll share with you which amp was which in the video.
I wanna spend the night at hers and bring her one of my t-shirts so it smells like her perfume. Now I really get what the love songs are talking about, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? Have you felt like you were out of breath when you saw her in that dress? When your heart is beating fast and you're sweating and you can't stop looking at her smile, then you've been in love. That's how you know you've been in love. There's something about the way she laughs and the way she always dances when she thinks nobody sees, and when she's gonna miss her so, I tell her, baby, please don't go, I think you should stay with me. And I really get what the love songs are talking about. Oh, and I just wanna tell her how I feel, scream it out loud. Have you ever been in love? Have you ever lost your head? woke up in the middle of the night. Ooh, na, na, na. And I wondered how you're always right. It gets me. I couldn't see what you saw in me. Ooh, na, na, na. But you showed me how to believe. Still gets me. When I look back, I can see you're hiding, waiting for a moment to step in. And I'll never understand how you saw it coming. Oh, but I will love you for it all. Yeah, I will love you for it all.
That shut it down, hanging around, God, oh. 'Cause darling, there was nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone, I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way
took from me. I know that I am so much better. I'm better off when I look at what I've done. Now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off. And baby, you don't belong. Your love was cold, heart made of stone. I'm just
Okay guys, so which amp did you like the most? Because when I compared the Fosi V3 monoblocks, they're the most open and I like their mid-range in a way, the clarity and the presence of it the most. I believe they're somewhere in the middle because the Fosi ZA3, when it first came out, it's really dense sounding and rich sounding, and I believe the Sparkos Opamps in that amplifier plays a big role because it opens up the sound, because from the get-go it's a little bit too backed down, and I really believe it benefits greatly from the pump that it gets from the Sparkos Opamps. Fosi V3 is a really good integrated amp, and the only downside that it has is that it doesn't have XLR inputs, because I believe it sounds the most balanced. The mid-range is beautiful, it's detailed enough, it's punchy enough, it's like not a master of dynamics, but it will still shame so many solid-state amplifiers, like really powerful ones, that it's not even funny. So I believe for like $100, 130 that it costs with power supply, it's silly price for the quality that it brings. But now, when it comes to the Fosi V3, when you think about having to have two of those and going for the power supply, and I would recommend to go for the new one. If you don't have power supplies like 5 amps 48 volts that the previous Fosi came up with, I'd recommend going for this one because it's 10 amps. It has a splitter here, so it goes to 2 amplifiers, so you can have one power supply and use the splitter here for 2 of those. But if you want to go really crazy, you can just disconnect the splitter and use entire 10 amps 48 volts, which means like 480 watts of power to 1 amp. But you need to get 2 of those bricks. If you don't want to do that now, you can upgrade later on, and I will have another brick like that coming to me soon, so I'll be able to test if it's worth getting 2 of those. But if you really need like full load of power, if your speakers are hard to drive or the impedance go really low, you'll definitely benefit from the bigger power supply, because it's always better to have more headroom with that. When I think about this amplifier, I still want to try a few other things. I definitely will modify it a little bit, because why not? I'll change the terminals to VWBT, and I'll change the inputs here for some VWBT as well, and the XLR as well, why not? Yeah, I'll have plenty of fun with those ones, because I believe it's the most open sounding. It has beautiful soundstage. The sound was wide instantly, and from all of those amps, this is the most open one, but it comes with a downside of being the most open one. And those with very bright sounding systems, probably going for the V3 stereo will do better for you, or ZA3 ones in dual mono. Yeah, dual mono really matters with those amps. Yeah, they might be better for your system. This is good, even great for the systems that are darkish, rich sounding and need spark and kick, or are at least on the neutral side. Because if they're too bright, if it's like Bowers, Focal or whatever, you might have difficulty to marry it with your system. So that's my opinion at the moment. I'll give them way more time, and within like 2 or 3 months, I'll switch in between ZA3 for a couple of days and those ones, and we'll have fun with them, and we'll do some linear power supply with 1000-watt toroid and Mundorf caps and things like that, just to pimp it up and check how good it is after some time and how good it can do. It's as minimalistic amp as possible. There's no additional features, Bluetooths, like other things that may interact with the sound in a bad way. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you have your own volume control, can control the volume someplace, like a DAC or streamer or Roon or wherever, yeah, it's a valid option for you. It's not like totally different league, like I was blown away and all my universe and paradigm collapsed. No, it's just different flavor. It allows you to do some different things, and it's as good as other amplifiers. It's just a monoblock in a different form with way more potential, because you've got more power, you've got more frequency stability when it comes to impedance load of your loudspeakers. So yeah, it's another great amp from Fosi. I'd say it like that. And if you were waiting for this amplifier and waiting for some reviews and samples, I can recommend it. And how I would approach it, I think what I need from my system, from my amp, if you're into amp change at the moment, and listen to the samples with headphones that I recorded for you guys. Because with good headphones, you'll be able to hear the change in character of each of the amplifiers. And if you liked the Canor the most, then yeah, maybe those are not the amps for you. But if you didn't hear a difference with a proper set of headphones, why overspend if you can spend the money elsewhere? For example, loudspeakers, DAC, cables, wherever. This is as good as it can get when it comes to amplifiers. It just has its own flavor, and I'm not feeling any urge to change my amps, and I'm using Fosi for some time now. And when it comes to DACs, you know, I test a lot of gear here, and I bought a DAC in December, then switched it to a new DAC that I bought in February, and this week I changed to the T+A 200, which I also purchased. So each DAC that come here is an improvement, is big enough for me to sell the previous one and buy a new one. And with the amps, I also test them, and not really. $10,000 amplifiers come here, and do I feel the urge to buy them if I have those ones here? No. It might sound weird to some people, but I believe the D-Class, especially this TPA3255 chip, is totally awesome. And you might build a totally high-end setup with such a silly priced amp and don't bother with the amplifiers. It's really that good. The technology progress in the D-Class amplifiers is that good, really, that I'd rather buy a 10,000 euro DAC, speakers, whatever, and save my money on the amp and spend my money elsewhere. And if you're in the market for any of the Fosi amplifiers, I've got a link in the description, which is affiliate link. If you buy through that link, at no additional cost to you, Fosi will share some of the commission with me. So yeah, if you feel like you have a need for that, yeah, go ahead and buy. If not, yeah, be happy with your system. I tried to do my best, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I hope you liked the video. I'm looking forward to your comment, and I hope the next video that YouTube is suggesting to you will be as awesome for you as this one. So see you in my next video.